Some of us, we always say that we don't know how to underwrite, but regardless of wherever you are, whether you're a limited investor or active investor, it's important that you understand what it is. If everyone around you is giving concessions, prospective tenants are likely to go there because who doesn't like free things? Hello everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to another edition of our asset management meeting. And for the past 3 months or so, we've been going through the ABC of multifamily syndication, and we've gone through the beginning aspect, and we're diving into more specific areas, and we'll keep diving into it. I was hoping that we would have been able to finish it before the end of the year. That was my projection, but we have a lot to touch. It feels like that might not be possible. This particular topic that we'll be talking about today is more about underwriting, but I'm going to take it in a different form because the most important thing is not just for you to slot in numbers into those softwares. We all have softwares, and the most funny part of it is that it is garbage in and garbage out. So let's dive right in. Some of us, we always say that we don't know how to underwrite, but regardless of wherever you are, whether you're a limited investor or active investor, it's important that you understand what it is. It's not just for you to take that spreadsheet and someone gives it to you and you're like, oh, the returns is IR of 20%, the cash flow is 8%, and you're super excited. And you don't know that it's actually garbage in, garbage out. That is whatever my assumptions are, that is what it's going to look like. So some people are not aware of that, and it's pretty much a pity. So that's why I said I'm going to teach this in a different way. We'll do it both practical. I'll show you what exactly I'm talking about, and I'm also going to show you the implication of everything that you do. I took time out to work on our property management company on the application of every line item. That is everything that can go wrong and every opportunity you can see when you're underwriting a deal. One of my biggest strengths is underwriting because it's very critical. It takes me a lot of time to underwrite one deal because I keep questioning it. I'm looking for loopholes and what can go wrong. There's something I need you to understand is there are 2 factors that can help a deal succeed. One is the internal performance, that is whatever the property manager is doing and whatever the asset managers are doing to improve on the performance of the property. That is one. Then you have the external factor, which is the market, that will also play its own role regardless of whatever it is you're doing on your property. So it just means that a fighting battle on 2 ends, and every point in time you are checking both. Is this okay? Is this okay? Because you need both to exit properly. You need both to buy properly. So let me explain what that means. It means that I buy a property and I'm not just buying it. I must ensure that the income is there and the income can take care of my expenses, and I will also cash flow because you're not a non-government organization. You want to make profit. So that's why you're doing it, not just for appreciation. And as you keep doing that, the longer you hold on it and you keep improving it, the idea is it's going to grow in value and you sell. That is why we all buy properties. So now you have a good property manager, you have a good deal, the deal is performing well, you're doing your job, everything is going well, and you decide to exit in year 5 and interest rate jumps to 7% and what you have currently is 3.5. That means if you decide to refinance, you're going to be paying double to the lender versus what you were doing. So that is regardless of whether you've performed well or your deal is good. The market factor is big and significant, and we saw that play a major role on many people's deal. So I also want to inform you that all the deals that you saw failing did not just fail because they were bad deals or they didn't do well. No, some of them failed because of the market shift. So we need to know how the market shift can affect you and how you can go around it and ensure that you are scaling through the entire market. So one major thing that can help you mitigate the external factor more is when you are able to push your NOR significantly higher than the normal. So for example, the increased interest rate and your NOR is large. Let's say you're supposed to, on a normal day, your NOR is supposed to be 1 million, but you were able to improve it to 2 million. It means that you did so much job on it that even the market is good. Yes, the market is going to impact on it, but it's not just good. It's not going to like make you foreclose on the deal. It's not going to make you bleed as such because you were able to over improve on it. So that is one thing that we need to understand. So I'm going to show you a template of our underwriting spreadsheet. My aim is to ensure that you understand each terms. I'm not here to show you how to underwrite because the most important thing is if you understand how each item or each puzzle come together, then even if you don't underwrite a deal, you can be able to tell what this is and what this is supposed to be. You have an idea of what it looks like. And that's what so many of us do now. I've seen people holding on to spreadsheet, but when I look at the spreadsheet, I'm like appalled because they don't even know the implication of the assumptions that they are making. So if you understand that, then you can easily take a spreadsheet and do whatever. And now God bless you that you like numbers. It will now be a lot easier. But even if you don't like numbers, you will be able to take some decisions properly and you will be able to strive in it. Like I said, for those of you that are just coming in, I'll be the one presenting going forward. Ify is taking a back seat for now. She has so many things to address on her plate and she's currently not available and she's looking at coming back later in the future, but for right now she's not. I would have taken that decision, truth be told, but I'm so passionate about multifamily that I'm like, okay, if I don't do it, what else will I be doing? So that is the point I'm currently at, and that's why I'm still doing it. My kids are here. They're supposed to go to bed, but I just told them to hold on for me and let me do this. And if you have questions, please don't wait to the end. Let's have a conversation because I can keep going on and on and on. So it's important that you understand exactly what that is. So when you underwrite, there are different drivers of your underwriting. One of them is the income driver. The second one is the expenses driver. The third one is the financing and driver. And the fourth one is the exit/returns driver. All these things have a meaning and it can impact your deal significantly if you miss out on the idea. So we're going to quickly jump into it. Why this is setting up? Guys, we have moved to another platform. We are still actively on Facebook, but we have a more inclusive platform that we'll start moving into. If you've not joined the platform, it's called School, Multifamily Freedom Chaser School. I'm going to drop my link for you to join. We are posting stuff and constantly I can go live on that platform and quickly talk about what is trending. Like right now, we know what is trending, the 50-year mortgage versus the 30-year mortgage. And some of us are super excited and some of us are not. There's a good and a bad side of it. So I can decide to jump and tell us how each can create a significant impact in the economy and can create a severe market shift. So it's something we need to watch out for. If it comes into play, there's going to be some implication of that, good and bad. So I'll be discussing that on platform as I have the time to do it. So please join. How many of us are familiar with the Michael Blank spreadsheets? There are many spreadsheets. I've tried many of them, but Michael Blank for now seems to be the one I can easily navigate and do some assumption, although it does not answer all the questions. So sometimes I find myself adding some codes to it. So it's not 100% there, but it can be fine-tuned to some extent, not every extent. Now let's dive right in. This is a typical spreadsheet. It's divided into different compartments, and I'm going to explain that. The first part of it is the acquisition. What will it take you to buy a property? What is the down payment you pay? What is the repairs as in terms of capex? So if you're doing a value add, you should know that you need money for capex. What would that look like? And what will be the closing cost? The entire part of this section, this acquisition section, everything here is very critical. That is the purchase price of your deal. So it's not just this, because some of us are leaning towards the purchase price. In the purchase price, we have the repairs, the capex that you're doing. We also have the closing costs, how much you're going to pay the lender at closing, the title company, any third party. You're going to conduct things like appraisal. You're going to conduct things like environmental. You're going to conduct tax issues, zoning issues. All these things need to be paid for. So you need to take everything into consideration, not just the purchase price. But in order for you to determine this first aspect, which is called the acquisition part, for this, they're looking at it, the seller is looking at selling it for 21 million. But if I add my closing costs, it's about 515. Now, if I move here, you see I have my repair costs and my operating reserve in code. So everything together. So let's assume I have it also here, you will see that my total cost will go up. You need to be careful about this because sometimes or most times, the more money you put down, the lesser the returns. Leverage is good. When I mean leverage, I mean loan. Loan is good, but you have to be careful that you don't overdo it. But my point is, the lower the amount you put down on a deal, the better the returns you will get. So please don't forget that. So we need to determine if this property is worth 22,315,000, not just the 21 million. The seller wants to sell at 21, but there are other costs that will bring this property to close and to also add value. So you take everything into consideration. So the total cost of this deal in quotes is 22,315,000. When someone brings a deal to you and say the seller is selling for 20 million, now you have to now combine the entire money you will need and take cognizance of it because everything is going to affect your returns. There's a difference between if I have zero here in this repair aspect and I have zero in my operating reserve aspect, it's going to give me a different returns than if I have something in it. If I have those two as zero, the returns will be better. If I have numbers in there, the returns will come down a little. So you need to check where your numbers hit. That is why you do the due diligence. So I'll get to that point. But what we are trying to do is to know if this property is worth 22,315,000. And in order for us to do that, we have to look at what the property be doing in the last 12 months. A broker gives you a profits and loss. And the profits and loss, which is a T12, is basically income and expenses. You are trying to check if, based on what is producing, if his property is worth 22 million. Now, the income aspect is this gross potential income. This line is the market, where the market is currently at. Remember, gross potential. The name potential means I should be able to, everything being equal, this is where the market is at. So don't forget that gross potential means the market, where every other person is. That is not your actual rent. That's not the rent you are collecting. It is where the market is. So you are trying to bring where the market is and trying to see, okay, what are the things that can affect me from getting to the market as at today? So the first thing you're looking at, the market is here. That means if I have a property that is 100 units, and it's fully occupied. I've rarely seen a property that is fully occupied from January to February in terms of residential. I'm not talking about business or mixed use. I'm talking about residential. People go through things. People are buying their homes. Maybe they lose someone. People are expanding. A family is increasing. So you see people moving. So regardless, someone, 1, 2, 3 people are likely to leave. So you need to picture that. Even if someone tells you, oh, we are always 100% filled up. No, it's not possible. It might happen in 1 year, but year 2, people cannot be in your property year in, year out, year 1, year 2, year 3. They must leave. So when someone is giving you a profit and loss and you are not saying vacancy, then you need to provide that. You need to make provision for that. So this is where the market is at 100%. It means I can achieve 2,282,000, but I have to come in and say, oh, definitely I'll have some vacancies. So I'll make provision for my vacancies and also I'll make provisions for my loss to lease. Loss to lease is the difference between where the market, that is this gross potential income, this one, where the market is and where you are. So is where the seller, where their rent is currently at. That's the difference. So when you see that, it shows you an opportunity. I've seen cases whereby sellers have increased their rent, that the rent itself is equal to the market. That means for a 1-bedroom, let's say the market is 1,200 and the property you're buying, you're checking the rent through and everybody's already at 1,200. What is the opportunity there? Nothing, because you cannot go above the market. If not, you see people leaving your property. So that is the opportunity you're looking at. You're looking for loss to lease. Where the market is and where I am, that is the gap you want to. The difference between that and this is a value add. It can increase the value of your property significantly. That is one. The other thing you are also going to consider is, am I going to give out concessions? Probability is yes. Concessions mainly are used in period where the vacancies are high or when you have low traffic or when all your competitors are doing it, because you have to be competitive. If everyone around you is giving concessions, prospective tenants are likely to go there because who doesn't like free things? Everyone does like free things, even if you can buy. If someone is saying, I can give you this, you want to take it. You have the money to buy, but it's free. There's nothing wrong in taking something free. That is how the mind works. I have two similar properties, nothing different from them. They look alike. The layout is the same. I go here. This one is giving me 500 concession. I go to this other part. This one is not giving me concession. There's a tendency that everyone will go there. The only reason why people will not go there is if the property doesn't have that quality as much as this other one and is significant. People that like taste and quality are likely not to even accept the 500 because they like quality. But let's say they're on the same level, both of them would want to do it. So concession is a strategic tool. So you have to make provision for it based on what your competitors are doing, based on the fact that you know that rent is seasonal. I can tell you for a fact that in residential multifamily, we have a seasonal market. Typically, November, December, January, February is our lowest month. So these are periods where people are saying, oh, Christmas bonus, Christmas concessions, Christmas gift. They're giving out 500 or 1 month free. It's intentional because we are unlikely to have a lot of traffic coming into your property. So that is why people do that. So it's not a tool for you to keep using year in, year out. Use it at periods where you need it. And when you see you are stable, let's say you are 95% occupied or 98% occupied, you cannot start pulling it back. That is how you use it, but you must make provision for it.